now. I feel it right now. I feel weights. I feel burdens being broken right now. I feel the anointing destroying break yokes right now. I hadn't even preached yet, but what's been burning you down, what's been worrying you, what's been keeping you up at night, is lifted off of you in this place as you give it to him, as you give it to him, out of your heart and your around and then you can be seated. Grab the closest person to you. Put your arms around. Be seated. Be seated. Has God ever done something for you that you can't even tell other folks? I want to call one of our members, but I don't want Sister Laura to turn the live streaming off because we might have some that are already watching, and I don't want to cut it off. But then I knew you could go, but I don't want to cut it off. I can
turn the sound off if you want.
Just stay right there. I don't want to get disconnected, do nothing, and call back, try to get back in. If they in, I want them to stay in. But God has done something for all of us. But God has done something for another one of our members, and I don't want, and I know that member can't tell it. And I dare not have them to tell it here live and everything because they got other folk we don't know who viewing, thank God for whoever's viewing. But when God, when you say I'm going to trust you, God, and I'm gonna step out here by faith. And let the chips fall where they may. But when you've gone through a hard season and a rough season, but you make up in your mind that I'm going to take a little time and give you the glory, give you the honor, and I'm going to trust you, Lord. You can ask what you will. Y'all, some of y'all, for the benefit of you all that just think that I just be up here saying empty words, when I be telling you to ask what you will. When I preach and I tell you, you can put a demand on life. I'm preaching all about when you can tell life and everything in it, I put a demand on you and things got to change. God. We had a member in God, this I'm gonna say it so general, but we had a member here that put a demand on life. And life came back and gave them everything they asked for. Everything they asked for. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. You ought to be able to shout on that. You ain't got to know who, you ain't got to know what. All you got to know is that it worked, and if it worked for somebody else in this house, that'll help up in here. If it worked for somebody else in this house, it'll sure not work for you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you to put a demand on life. Yeah. I said I dare you to put a demand on life. And said, life, I ain't taking this no more. This is what I want out of you. For what I put in, if I put a spoonful in, I'm going to get a shovel out. I put a demand on you. My praise put a demand on you. My worship put a demand on you. My giving put a demand on you. You gonna give me something back for this. You gonna give me something back for this. You gonna give me something back for this. Everybody that's been through something, put a demand on it. You gonna give me something back for this. But every year about this time today is October the 1st, and every year about this time I start feeling some kind of way. Come down, every year about this time I start feeling some kind of way and everything, and I start feeling this way for Deacon Troy and for Sister Tammy, and I start feeling I'm going in because it's getting closer to October the 3rd, and I don't know, you know, and I gotta be sensitive, and I gotta tiptoe around and everything because it's getting close. But I speak today that whatever life has taken from you, you put a demand on it, and life is gonna give you back, and it'll help up in here. Life is gonna pay you back. Oh God, help me in this house. So on October the 3rd, on Tuesday, we gonna celebrate. I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna text you, I'm gonna do something, but we gonna celebrate because when you can't plant a seed in the ground and then not produce a harvest, you planted a seed and it's time for your harvest. It's time for your harvest. It's time for life to pay you back what you put in the ground. You put a great seed in the ground and life got to give you a harvest. It's not only seed time, but it's sowing time. Touch everybody you can touch and tell them it's sowing time. It's sowing time. Touch everybody. Touch everybody. Y'all don't believe because y'all just sitting there trying to reach in something. You don't believe it, so that's fine. But everybody believes it. Jump up and touch everybody they can touch. I shouldn't have to tell you to jump up. If you believe it, you will jump up. You will touch everybody you touch if you've been sowing. If you've been sowing. If you sowed in tears, I'm preaching word in this house. If you sowed in tears, you're going to reap in joy. If you sowed with your tears, you're going to reap with joy. If you sowed with your tears, you're going to reap with joy. Everybody that cried, get ready to rejoice greater than you cried. From my heart and my soul, give you all the praise. Woo. I can't get out of this. I need to tell somebody, for every tear you shed, get ready for joy to come back multiplied. I speak it in this city. I speak it in this season. I speak it in this time. Every tear you shed, God bottled up every tear you shed. And for every tear you shed, get ready for joy to come back multiplied. Because you sowed it in your tears, but you're going to reap it in your joy. What you had to cry about is going to come back and make you laugh. What you cried about is going to and they applied my money where they wanted to apply. And it ain't like I didn't owe it. But you owed me. And it was my money. And let me apply my money. Ain't gonna help me. And I did everything right that I was supposed to do to get my money. I ain't gonna act like I didn't owe a debt. I ain't gonna act like I don't owe a debt. But I did everything that they said, come down, son, come down. When I'm talking to you, come down low. You good, just to give it low. But I'm not gonna act like I didn't owe a debt. But when you do everything that they said you're supposed to do, even though you owe a debt to get your money back, then you expect to get your money back. And we did everything we were supposed to do to get my money back. But they applied it where they wanted to apply and sent me a letter like I couldn't do nothing about it. But I said, Lord, it's got to be something. And you know how you call them folk, and if you ever call them, they're going to say, well, you need to talk to so-and-so. After you done waited 20 minutes to get the first person. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. And after I waited 20 minutes to talk to one person, they said, call this person. And they said, well, we're going to transfer you to this person. And after all of that, about an hour, I finally got somebody. I said, no, this ain't right, and everything, something's wrong. We're going to check into this. And in 30 to 40 days, you're going to hear something. You're going to get a letter, a phone call, something from us. You receive a letter, and we're going to explain to you, and we'll let you know. Well, 30 days passed, 40 days passed, 60 days passed, and it was going on 90 days, and I ain't heard nothing.
All right.
And I said, no, something ain't right. But we were out eating the other weekend, and I saw my tax man. He said, you ever get that straight? You ever get your money? I said, no. And he said, come see me next week. I went to see him last week. He said, we got to do something. He said, this is an office in Little Rock. You can go and talk, and they'll work on your behalf. Call them. He said, call them and make an appointment for you and Anita to go over and see them. Well, when I called the lady and I explained it to her, gave my social security number, she looked it up. She said, Mr. Johnson, you ain't got to come over here. I tell you right now, this ain't right.
All right, all right, all right, all
right. She said, this ain't right. She said, she said, this is not right.
All right.
And she said, what we gonna do? She said, I have the authority to put you in connection with the people that can make it right. She said, you ain't gotta waste your gas to come from Stuttgart to Little Rock. I can do this over the phone. And she said, I'm finna transfer you to that department right now. And she said, I'm gonna make a note on it, so when they call it up, they'll see my note. When I called it up, got the man, told her, he said, Mr. Johnson, I see it, I see what has happened, I see. And he said, you are due your money. He said, what I'm gonna do, he said, I'm gonna take it out of the archive. And I'm gonna activate your account. That was Friday. And he said, Monday, I'm going to activate your account and I'm going to reverse the charges. He said, I'm going to reverse it. And he said that you can expect, oh God, I should tell this part, but he said from 2 weeks, from Monday, 2 weeks to 4 weeks, you can expect your check in full. I put a demand, and gonna help me together. I put a demand on what the IRS said was mine. And said, you can't take mine and do what you want to do with it when I've done everything right. And if I've done everything right, I put a demand on you and say, come on. You got to give me a better answer than that. So you know I done already marked off 2 weeks and 4 weeks from tomorrow. And on 2 weeks, the first day of 2 weeks, I'm going to be waiting on the mailman. Every day. From 2 to 4 weeks. I'll be like Brahmo. I put on my good going to town clothes and put my dust on top of it. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. They put their dust on top of their good clothes. So when the mailman brings their truck, they check, they just pull the dust off and lock the door. And we finna go to town. Damn it, God, you know what I'm talking about. We finna go to town. Glory to God. Woo. Somebody give God a praise in this. Give him a praise. Thank you. don't entertain us.
Amen.
We don't have entertainers.
Amen.
Amen. We don't have entertainers. We have leaders.
Yes, sir.
And they help lead us
Yes, sir.
into the presence of the Lord. Amen. Thank God for blessing us to be here today. I honor God,
Yes,
my
Lord.
Heavenly Father, my Creator, the sustainer of my life. I honor God today for His presence, His anointing. I honor God for His Son, Jesus Christ, my Savior, my deliverer, my way maker, my elder brother, the one who exchanged places with me and took my unrighteousness and gave me His righteousness. I thank God for Jesus. And I thank God for the Holy Ghost. I said I thank God for the Holy Ghost. Glory to God, who's in the room right now. I want to ask everyone in this house, help me give Lady Anita Johnson honor. Help me Amen. Amen. I get up first in the morning, on Sunday morning, get up first. And so she get up, she be waiting to see what I have on, so she got a court. So I hook up with some song.
That's right. That's right.
Amen. Amen. So thank God for Reverend Larry Loudermilk. Bless you. Thank you for your prayers. Amen. To the doctor been getting a good report.
Amen.
Coach gave him a B12 shot the other day. Real couldn't even take his afternoon nap. He got mad. I got this shot and now I can't even take my nap. Amen. Thank God for Minister Denise. Amen. Thank God for all of our members, all of you that are here, our visitors. God bless you. Woman of God, I don't know you in the physical, but I'm some kin to you in the spirit.
All right.
Amen.
All
You
right.
come in this house and just go to praising like you did.
Amen.
And just jump right in with me. We already some kin to you. Amen. Last Sunday, from our heart and our soul, we want to take a little time.
Yeah.
We want to take a little time and say thank you. BBC, thank you. Thank you for sowing into us, for being a blessing into us. Amen. And making one day that we set aside to honor your leaders. A great day for us. Amen. Amen. Morning service and afternoon was nothing but the icing on the cake that you all had already made. Amen. Amen. And see, sometimes cake is good all by itself.
That's right.
You don't need icing. So just in case you don't get icing,
All right.
you still got the cake. And Sunday morning was the cake. Amen. And Sunday afternoon, we just put a little icing
All right.
on the cake. BC, you have blessed us all day.
Amen.
After church last Sunday morning, Brother Michael Laws came up to me and said, Apostle, I want to be a member of this church. I said, I thought you was already a member. You want to be a member. Man, I done put you down to get tribute to me this evening. And you tell me you want to be a member. You take your name off and get somebody that's already a member. I thought you, no, I just teased with it and everything. But I said, Brother Michael, you are already a member. So I said that so that after church, after service today, BC was going to welcome Brother Michael Laws in as officially be welcomed in. Amen. Amen. As a member of BC. Amen. Thank God for that. I think that's all I want to. I need to get out right now. We're going to Sherwood this afternoon. Amen. Call our members who are not here. Call them. Find out where they are. Man, I got to just bear with me. I got something going on. Man. Call our members that are not here after church and let them know we need everybody.
Amen.
Need everybody to go with us to Covenant Faith, Praise, and Worship Center in Sherwood.
Amen.
Under the awesome leadership of Apostle Brenda and Pastor James Jefferson.
Amen.
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 Amen. As we celebrate, I'll be preaching their church anniversary, their 18th church anniversary on this afternoon. Brothers, sisters, children, baby, everybody. I'm asking each to go with our praise team, music department. Everybody will be going to Sherwood on this afternoon. And if you've ever gone to Covenant Faith, Praise, and Worship, you're going to have some church over there.
Amen.
Nothing else, they have church up in there. Amen. So we're just going to join right in with them in the celebration. I need to release this word just for a few minutes. Just for a few minutes. That's okay. Just for a few minutes, I need to release this word. Lady Anita mentioned that I got up early this morning, but what I did this morning, Lady Anita, was just icing. I was just putting some ice.
All right.
What I did this morning, you know, I'm not a cake baker or anything, but I do have enough sense about baking to know that you can't put icing on a hot cake.
Right. All right. That's right.
Because it'll run off, right? And it'll all end up down there. That's why you have all that big rain of icing all down. You didn't let it cool. Then you got to take a spoon like Mine Bell do and go around and try to put it back up on there and let it go. But I had already baked the cake.
All right.
And I baked the cake right after I left on the third Sunday.
All right.
When we were talking about what are you expecting? We're talking about your expectations.
All right.
And are your expectations too low
All right.
for what God really has for you? Could it be that nothing is really happening in your life because you're not expecting anything?
All right.
Nothing great is really happening. You see it happening for other people, but nothing great is really happening for you because you may not be expecting. I'm not talking about wishing.
All right. All right.
I'm not talking about drawing the cards. I'm not talking about luck. But are you expecting for greatness to happen in your life?
All right.
We were talking about the prophet going to the woman's house. She had everything going on, but she didn't have a child.
Yeah.
And she had lost her expectation to even receive a child. And because, see, y'all thought I was just preaching that because it coming up to my appreciation. Because she thought enough to bless the man of God.
Amen. Right.
The man of God turned around and said, what is it that I can do for you?
All right.
And she said, I'm good. I'm good, I ain't. I'm all right. It's well, and don't worry about me. I just want to bless everybody else. I ain't expecting nothing for myself. He said, I don't even want to talk to you no more. He asked the servant, what is it I can do for this woman? And the servant said, she's barren, hadn't had a child, and a son, and her husband is old. So in other words, all the odds were against her.
All right.
By this time.
Come on.
All the odds were against her by this time. But yet, the man of God said, by this time next year,
Yes, sir. All right. It's time.
you'll be nursing.
Yeah.
By the time of life, that's 9 months. The time of life, 9 months. And by this time next year, you're going to be nursing a son.
Yes.
Scripture said that it came to pass that a year later, she had a 3-month-old son. She nursed him. What are you expecting?
Yes.
What is your expectation of life?
Yes.
It don't take a whole lot of us. I know prayer work. It don't take a whole lot of us to to really get the job done,
Yes.
it takes a few of us that will grab this word and operate in
Yes, sir.
it to affect change.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Many times we think we have to have a whole church full to show that we're faith. No. You can have a church full and everybody still be missing.
All right. Come on, Apostle.
But if the few of us that are here, if we would grab this word and operate in what I just testified, because Lady Anita said a few minutes ago, even introducing me, if the outside people don't even acknowledge,
Right.
you need to acknowledge what you have
That's right. That's right, Apostle. That's right.
in this house.
Amen.
And even though we're few, we are mighty.
Amen.
And when I say few, don't even discount empty seats,
Yeah.
because empty seats even represent those who are working, who have still sold their tithe.
All right. That's right.
That knew they would be working today, that made sure that I won't be physically there, but I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be represented there.
Yes.
Oh God, help me in
Yes.
this house. And so when I got home and the next day I'm walking, y'all pray for me because I gotta go do lab next Monday. After the 7th Sunday dinner. I wish I could. Gotta do lab after the 7th Sunday dinner. You drinking all kind of water and it's okay. But I was walking, I was excited doing my morning walk and meditation, and God began to challenge me out of that word on this word. And I said, God, why would you give me a word like this and Wednesday night walking or whatever? And then, you know, next Sunday is the appreciation, and I got to hold this to the first Sunday. But out of this, God said, I tell you what, go with me to, I just need one scripture. Go with me to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew's Gospel, chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5. And I just need one verse. Matthew chapter 5, I just need one verse, and that is verse number 6. This is what God dealt with me about. Chapter 5, verse number 6. And it says, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
For they shall be filled.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Blessed are they which do, don't miss that, which do hunger and thirst
Yes.
after righteousness.
Yes.
For they shall, not might. Anytime you see shall, that's absolute. Anytime you see shall, that's guaranteed. Not might, not it's a good chance, not it's a good possibility, not if everything line up right, but blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled.
Yes. Right.
The Message Bible, or either I know the Amplified, says shall be completely satisfied.
Amen. All right.
The Message Bible says they that have an appetite after God's righteousness or after God shall be completely satisfied. And just for the next few minutes, because y'all done shouted up most of my preaching time, just for the next few minutes, I just want to talk about what are you hungry for?
All right. All right. All right. Teacher.
What are you hungry for? When God gave me this and God spoke this into me and started dealing with me about what to ask the church, those that he would draw into this house today, to ask you this question, to preach from this question, what are you hungry for? God told me that at the outset of the message, I have to explain to you and to help you to understand that there is a difference between a hunger and starvation.
All right. All right. All right.
God is good.
All right.
There's a difference between a hunger and starving. He didn't say those who are starving.
Right. Right.
Because starvation is desperation.
Yeah.
And starving people do desperate things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God help me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Starving, I'm saying it again, starving people do desperate things.
Yes, sir.
If you don't believe me,
Yes,
ask
sir.
the boy in the hog pen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Starvation will drive you to want what the hogs left over.
Amen.
Jesus.
God, I don't hear
Yes.
it. Starvation will drive you to the point where you will want it so bad till I just eat what falls from the hog's mouth.
Yeah. My Lord. My Lord.
Starvation will drive you to dumpster diving.
Yeah.
Starvation will have you eating out of the garbage can.
Yes, sir.
That's starvation.
Yes.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yes.
Help, Lord.
Yes.
Starvation will send you into a gutter that you have thrown away trash that have set up and molded.
My Lord. My Lord.
And then you take that and throw it into another container, and then some starvation will send you into that container and eat and try to be filled.
Right.
Lord.
But a hunger, oh God,
Yeah.
a hunger is when you have the opportunity to pick and to choose.
Uh-huh.
It's your delight, it's your desire.
Yes, sir.
God help me.
Yes.
I have the option.
Yes, Lord.
It's a buffet.
All right. Come on.
God, I don't just have to go and try to get somebody's leftovers,
Yeah.
but I have an option of what I want to eat.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
And that's why he said hunger and not starving.
Yeah.
Because a starving person will take whatever they can get.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
I know we're limited. I know we're limited on restaurants and quality of restaurants in Stuttgart.
Yes, sir.
And many times when we ask each other or ask our family members, what do you want to eat today? And we say, I'm tired of everything.
Yeah. Joseph.
I don't know what I want. I'm tired. I don't want no more chicken. I don't want no more pork chops.
Yeah.
I'm tired of fish.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, no. I'm tired of, you understand what I'm saying? I don't know what I want. That's when you're not to the point of starving, you are just hungry.
Yes. Yes.
Because a starving person will take whatever. When you're really starving, I don't like mayonnaise on my sandwiches.
All right.
But I hadn't been to the point of starving.
All right. All right. All right.
Because I bet you if I ever get to the point of starving, you ain't even got to put no bologna on it. Just give it a mayonnaise in the
Great. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and you will eat what you say you don't like.
That's right.
God help
That's
me.
right.
When you're starving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ministry is, oh God help me. Ministry is the same way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not being critical, and I really, hey, don't cut it, and nothing like that. But I'm trying to say it a diplomatic way. That's why many of y'all question, how in the world do they sit there and eat that?
Hallelujah. Glory to God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All right.
They starve. And the thing about starving is when you don't get up and do something about it.
Yeah.
Amen. All right.
That's what the blind man, the 10 blind men that were sitting out there, and they said, why are we going to sit here until we die?
Yeah.
If we sit here, we're going to die. At least if we die, let's get up and try to do something about it. At least be farther than where we are just sitting here waiting on death.
Yeah.
And good ministry ought not drive you into starvation, but ought to lead you into an appetite where you're hungry and thirsting after more of God's righteousness, and I need to be filled.
All right. All right.
Now I'm gonna say something that other pastors who are not secure, or God help me. Other pastors who need job security won't agree with me on what I'm about to say. But good ministry that will feed you,
Come on.
you can make it even if you miss a Sunday.
All right. Yes, sir.
Absolutely right.
You ought to not be so empty if you have to miss a Sunday. To where when you, after you miss that Sunday, you so empty you cussing everybody out.
Come on now.
Can't nobody stand to be around you. I ain't got no help up in here. You irritable. I'll admit that's because you starved. But when you really get a good meal, I ain't got no help up in here. I'm not talking about watermelon.
Come on, Apostle.
I'm talking about when you get a good steak, baby. When you get a good quality meal, it'll fill you up and you'll be satisfied. Oh, God help me. And it'll stick with you. And a lot of people want to eat water. That's good if you want to lose weight because it'll fill you up, but it won't stay with you long.
That's right. That's right.
And so he says, he says, blessed are they who do hunger and thirst, have an appetite. This is what I'm talking about. And I'm going to get out of here. Have an appetite for God's righteousness, for the righteousness of God. Thank you, Sister Donna. God bless you. Who have an appetite. Who have an appetite. What are you hungry for? Are you hungry for righteousness? Are you hungry for God's righteousness? Let me help you understand. I got to get it. Let me help you understand what righteousness is. Righteousness is being in right standing with God.
Amen. Yeah.
Righteousness is whatever is right to God.
Yeah.
Whatever is right to God is righteousness.
Yeah. All right.
So the writer said, Matthew says, blessed are they who do hunger and thirst, not after selfishness, but righteousness.
Yes. All right. Yes.
Not after self-indulgence, but after righteousness. So then I bring myself into the righteousness of God.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
Because outside of the righteousness of God, I'm operating in selfishness, and that's why I got to keep doing it over and over again, because I don't get satisfied.
Right.
I don't get complete. You want to know if it's of you or not, or if it's of God or not. If it's of you, it won't satisfy.
That's right. Right.
Woo.
Yeah.
God help me. It won't satisfy you. You can go from bed to bed and it won't. Oh, God help me. I should have worked up to that. It won't satisfy you. You can go from club to club. It won't satisfy you.
Right.
You can go from high to high and it won't satisfy you.
It's God.
Now watch this. You think I'm only talking about smoking,
Yeah.
crack,
Yeah.
cocaine,
Yeah.
meth. You think I'm only talking about that high. But don't you know going to church is a high?
Yeah.
For some folk.
Yeah.
Some folk medicate themselves and get high on just going to church. I just got to go to church. I got to go. Because you don't have no other life.
Yeah. Right. Come on, teach.
You don't have no other life but just going to church. And so you run over here and you run over there. And they having a tent meeting over there. And they got some of, and a prophet so-and-so going to be here. And Dr. So-and-so going to be there. And you oh God help me. You're part of this denomination for a minute. You're part of that denomination for you're part of this. And you got to go over here and you think you fellowshipping with everybody and you starving. Because you're trying to eat in all these different places. And church, and you get high and self-medicating on church, but a good meal. Fill you up and hold you. Completely satisfy you. So don't think that I'm just talking about worldly stuff, because just because you come to church, there are those who medicate themselves on just coming to church. On just shouting. On just falling out. And get up and don't have no power. Just go through the theatrics of church. because I know how to shout. I know when to shout. And when they do the dun, 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 they go and just go off into, oh God, and just be sweaty and musty. And oh God, help me. I ain't say that. I ain't say that. And get through all of that and don't have no results. If you want to know if you got satisfied or not, results ought to come out of your coming. There ought to be something that you can take and apply to this word. It ought to be something that when you get home, you may be watching TV, but a part of this word ought to go through you and get down and say, you know what, I'm going to step out on this. And you see results. That's when you become satisfied. God help me in this house.
That's good, Apostle. Good word. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Blessed all day. Bless God. I don't want to get too deep. Well, I guess I need to. When I said blessed all day, my mind went to the Amplified. The Amplified says blessed all day, and then it puts in parentheses a comma. Put in colon or something like that. But it says to be envied, to be favored, to be envied, and to be looked upon. God help me. Blessed means that the favor is upon you. When he said blessed all day, favored are you. And not only favored are you, because what comes with favor, if you don't want the favor, if you don't want the envy, don't want the favor. I'm helping somebody. Everybody talking about I'm blessed and highly favored, but if you can't accept the envy, don't want the favor. God help me in this house. Because they go together. Because you can't have the favor and people see the favor, there's going to always be somebody that envy. The favor that is upon you. And the reason they envy you is because they don't know what you did to get the favor. And what you did is I took a little time to express. God help me. I feel like preaching. I just took a little time to express how much I love you, how much I care. I just took a little time out of my stay. I just took a little time out of my day and just loved on him. I just took a little time to just say, Lord, I love you. I just took a little time to say, if you never do anything else for me, you've done enough. I just took a little time to express, God. I know I got a whole lot of things I'm believing for, but I just want to be in your presence. And it brought favor. And he said, blessed all day. Who do hunger and thirst after righteousness. Let me deal with this and I'll get out of it. After what is right with God. I'm not hungering, I'm not thirsting, I'm not chasing out of what I want to do. I'm not trying to be successful on my own, but God, what is it you have for me? This is what I want this church, this is what I want this ministry, this is what I want the people of God in this house, for you to seek God, and what do you have for me? My success is tied up because the truth be told, and okay, I'm not even going to go that way. The truth be told, many of us really have come to the awareness or to the awakening that the probability is that I've had more yesterdays than I have tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
This is just a sidebar right here. This is just a sidebar, and then we'll get back into that. Mama up and went out the other day. Mama called and went and got checked out and all that kind of stuff. And we got a couple of options and everything like this. And so I called Richard and we talked about it, and we decided. I said we'll get it fixed, or we're gonna replace Mama oven. We're gonna do like this and everything like that. And Mama was talking and everything. She said, "Well, it's 19 years old." We bought it 19 years ago. So, yeah. And so I was talking to Richard, and we talked about it. I said, yeah, 19 years, yeah, it's time. And I I said, but now, we're going to give a good, I said, because this ought to be the last one. And I ain't wishing mama away. But I said, at her age now, if we get another 19 years out of this one, she won't be remembering no recipes. She won't be in there stirring up no whipping up. She won't know if she put the eggs or the butter or what in what 19 years now. I ain't wishing her away, but you don't need to be trying. Baby need to have them recipes by the end. After God's righteousness, what is right with God? Okay, what is in alignment with you? Because I don't need to spend my time wondering, because the difference, one of the biggest differences between young people and older people is young people think they always got time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
God help me.
That's right.
Woo!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they do.
Young people think I always got tomorrow.
Yeah, they sure do.
Young people think I'm going to be young forever.
Yeah.
God help me.
Yeah.
Young people think it's going to always be like this.
Yeah.
Young people think I'm going to always be buffed and fine and built and strong. And I got help up in here. Y'all done backed up on me now. Young people think I'm going to always have this Coca-Cola bottle figure. Young people think I'm going to always have muscles in my chest. But then there are some of us that'll tell you that life will take what was up here and break. I better get up out of it. I better get up out of it. I better get up out of it. Life will tell you that what is working now ain't gonna always. Don't think just because, oh God help me, I better back up out of it. Don't think just because it's working good now that it's gonna always work good.
That's right.
That you just keep living, and those of us who are entering into maturity, we realize that what we had, oh God help me, that what we had yesterday is not promised.
Right.
So I got to make sure that today count. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. Make your today count for something. Don't waste days just wondering what I'm going to do today. You have missed the righteousness of God. That's why you're not satisfied. When you are filled, you have an agenda. You have a plan. Oh, God, you know what it's going to be like. It may be things that change your day. It may be things that redirect your day. But it's not because you don't have a plan.
Yes, Lord.
Okay, it done got quiet. Well, I'm going to see how I feel when I get up. Let me fix my little breakfast first. I ain't had my coffee yet. Well, let me watch The Price is Right, and then when it go on, I'll see what I'm going to do. And before you know it, it's time for your nap.
Sure will.
God help me. You done got sleepy again and ain't done nothing. Let me go on. Understanding what is the righteousness of God is asking, and this is what I'm getting into, is asking the hard question. God, my day, my life, my time means so much to me until I can't pursue after things. I can't chase after things that are not productive.
Right.
I got to make this count. I got to hit the bulls out the first time.
Yes.
I ain't got that many. Okay, Lord help me.
Yeah.
I can't be wasting bullets. I can't be wasting time. I can't be wasting energy. I can't be wasting all that anymore. I got to make it count for something.
Yes.
And I need to know, before I get into that, I need somebody very quickly to get Romans chapter 10, Romans chapter 10. Just said somebody real quickly. Get it there. Romans chapter 10. Romans chapter 10. Real quickly. And when you get it, I need somebody to start a good strong reader now. Strong reader. Start reading at verse 1.
Brethren,
Yes.
my heart's desire
Brother, my heart's desire.
and prayer to God
Yes.
for Israel is
Uh-huh.
that they might be saved.
That they might be saved. Come on.
For I bear them record
Now watch this. I'm finna go on record now. I'm finna go on record for this account. Come on.
that they have a zeal of God,
But they have a zeal. They are zealous. They have a zeal of God,
but not according to knowledge.
but not according to knowledge. Okay, I got to stay just for a minute. I got to hit that. You can have a zeal but not have knowledge.
All right. Come on.
I see that in a lot of young preachers. Sometimes I just want to snatch them and just say, I appreciate your zeal, keep the zeal, but you need to get some knowledge.
All right.
You need to sit under somebody.
Yeah.
Because the thing with a lot of young preachers is that they think because they've been called to preach, they've been called a pastor.
All right.
And just because you've been called to preach don't mean you've been called a pastor.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
God, help me.
Right.
And so they'll make zealous statements, and they'll undercut pastors and everything to try to get in position instead of what, and knowledge will teach you to wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, God, help
Yes,
me.
sir.
Because the same thing that you sow,
Yeah.
and if you had to undercut to get the
Right,
position,
right.
when you get in the position, you better watch out.
That's right.
You won't be able to enjoy it because you're going to be always having to look over your shoulder because you know what you had to do to get in there. That ain't just for preaching. That's oh God. Help me. Whatever you got to undercut to get your way into, you better watch out, baby, because you ain't going to be there long. Don't put no pictures on the wall. Don't hang no posters up. Don't put nothing permanent. If you put carpet down, don't put no glue up on it because you're going to have to rip that up because you ain't going to be there long.
Yes.
Come on, because I get stuck there. Go back to have a zeal of God.
For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God,
Yes,
but not according to knowledge.
but not according to knowledge. Come on, this one more.
For they being ignorant of God's righteousness.
Stop right there. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness.
Yeah.
Ignorance is a killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ignorance will lock you out of the blessings that God has for you. The good news is that he said, for they being ignorant and not ignorant. Ignorant is Ebonics.
All right.
Ignorant. Okay, God help me, y'all.
Amen.
Y'all sit up here rolling your eyes at me now. Let me explain the difference.
Yeah.
Ignorance means a void of learning or understanding.
Right. Right.
But when we, in our language, call somebody ignorant,
Yeah.
we mean you are incapable of learning.
Right.
Okay, y'all know you
Yeah.
are ignorant. Okay.
Uh-huh.
When we call you ignorant, that means you ain't even got the capability to learn.
Right.
Ignorance means that you hadn't been presented to it yet.
Right.
You hadn't come into the awareness. You hadn't come into the knowledge of what it is.
Yeah.
So he said, for they being ignorant of God's righteousness, nobody taught them. They haven't been fed what is the righteousness of God. God, this is good to me. This might not be doing enough for nobody else, but this, I'm going to sit back and watch this myself tonight. I'm going to watch Monday night, Sunday night football. And this, okay, but this is good. For they being ignorant, nobody has fed them what is the righteousness of God. And what did they do?
And going about to establish their own righteousness.
Because they have had a void of understanding or not been fed what is the righteousness of God, then I go and establish my own righteousness. I go and establish what is right to me. I believe, don't quote me on this. Ms. Nancy, if you're watching, I know she's going to check it out. But I believe it is the last chapter of the book of Joshua. I believe, and everybody trying to go in, I believe the last chapter, down the last one, or two verses, the end verses of the last book of the book of Joshua, it says something to this account. It says that in that day there was no king in Israel. And every man went about doing what was right in his own eyes.
Yes. Yes.
When there is no righteousness established, you establish your own righteousness.
That's right.
God help me. I hope y'all can appreciate this. Oh, whenever there is a void of righteousness, you will establish what is right to you.
Yes. Yes.
God, I don't know. I'm going to say it again. Whenever there is a void of righteousness, whenever you're not being fed righteousness, you will establish your own righteousness.
Right.
That's why we're doing a lot of things that Mama and them said.
Yeah.
That's why we're operating by a lot of things that Grandpa and them said. That's why we're going by doing a lot of things that, well, they told me. And we won't go by what God said about it. We'll go by what they told. And we'll fight tooth and nail on what they said.
Right.
God help me.
Right.
Instead of listening to the inner voice or the inner push of the spirit of this moment of what is righteousness.
Right.
God help me.
Right.
They're going about to establish their own righteousness. And hadn't consulted God. Now there's another thing. I got to hit this. He talked earlier in that, Paul talked about the knowledge. They have a zeal, but not according to knowledge.
Yes.
The word of God said, y'all help me, because I may not quote this right. He said, God, what am I looking for? But God didn't come. The scripture that talked about where there is no where there's no something there. Oh, God help. I get it. But there's, God help me. Spirit. But I'm going to go on, but I'll come back to this. But I got to come back to it now. Now what I want to go to, when we talk about the righteousness of God, and I'm just about to close, y'all stay with me, about to close. When we talk about the righteousness of God, I've established the fact that we're talking about God's righteousness. Watch this, and then I'm through. I give you this, then I'm through. When you talk about the righteousness of God, you want to make sure that everything you do is in alignment with what is right with God. So then, you have to, okay. Reverend Lodge McNair, we were riding yesterday in his truck, in his new truck. And you have to know Reverend to understand what I'm about to say. You have to know him to understand what I'm about to say. We were riding his truck, and he was a little cold or something like that, a little cool. So I said, I thought Miss Joanne put some little jackets or extra shirts up under the seat, and I looked and all that, looked and everything. He said, I done looked. And he said, that back seat won't come down. And I can't get that back seat down. And you got to know. So for the next 30 minutes, I had to hear, that back seat won't come down. I tried everything. That back seat won't come down. And finally, I said, Reverend, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I said, I get the manufacturer's book out. And the book from the manufacturer ought to show us how to let the back seat down. Because they made it. So they ought to tell us in the book how to let the seat down. God.
Come on.
Many of us are driving life, riding in life that God has given to us. And when something don't work right, we'll sit there and talk about, I tried that, I tried this, I tried to do that. This didn't work, but we won't consult the manufacturer.
Come on. Yeah.
Who made, who made the truck, who made the life that he gave us. And if we want his righteousness, we have to consult him on how to operate the life that he gave us. God, I'm through, but I got to close with this. That's what David did. I feel like preaching now. That's what David did. If you remember in 1 Samuel chapter 30, and in chapter 30, you remember that they came to Ziklag, and the Amalekites caught David and his men gone. And normally when we preach this, all we try to get to is that the part that the men turned against David, because when they came back home, all of their wives, their children, all of their stuff, they burned everything, took all their folks. When they came back, everything was just smoking. All their folks gone. Their houses burned up. The men cried. God, the Bible said that they cried so hard that they didn't even have any more to cry with. They didn't even have any more tears to cry. They just cried out. And then when they cried out, they turned on David, their leader, and they talked about killing David. God help me. And we can preach that. Oh, we preach that. And what David do? David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. David encouraged, and we said, pick yourself up, strengthen yourself, strengthen your knees, straighten your back, tell yourself you're doing a good job, encourage yourself, tell yourself it's going to be all right. Touch 3 people around you and say, encourage yourself. And we preach that. And we stop right there. But a little ways beneath that is that David went to God and said, God, shall I pursue or shall I not?
All right.
That's good. That's better than y'all shout. David said, I know they done took all the wives. I know they done took all the children. I know they done burnt our stuff. But I need to know before I waste any more of my time, before I get me another group together, before I gather these men, because I don't want to waste another battle. I don't want to waste any more of my time. So I'm asking you, shall I pursue? Shall I go after this job? Shall I go after this career? Shall I go after my degree? Shall I go after this home? I'm tired of renting. I'm tired of putting my money into something and not getting it back. Shall I pursue this house? I know what my credit says. I know what's behind me says. But shall I pursue? Oh, God, it's better than y'all shout. And I want to know from God. I want to know from the manufacturer. I want to know from the one who established righteousness. Shall I pursue? Everything in me said quit. Everything in me said give up. Everything in me said fight. Everything in me said let go. Everything in me said it ain't gonna work. My own men turn against me. My own family turn against me. My own church turn. Come on now, don't go on back from now. The people that stay in the house with me turn against me. The people that I help the most, and when I needed help, they turn against me. Come on. The ones that I went and bailed out when I needed a little something, they turn against me. But I come to you. I'm not going back to them because I don't waste my time with them. And I'm coming to you saying, shall I pursue?
My God. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus. My God.
Shall I pursue? Shall I pursue? Blessed are they who do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. And God is feeding us, people of God. We that have an appetite for the things of God. We that have an appetite for the righteousness of God. God is filling us and satisfying us.
Yes, sir.
God is leading us. God has given us the green light to pursue things that life said you would never get.
Right. Come on. Lord. Come on.
God has given you the green light to pursue that you don't have to take this no more.
Yes, yes, yes.
Get up. You sit down long enough.
Yes.
My righteousness says, stand up now. God help
My
me.
Lord. My Lord.
My righteousness said is more in you.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yes. Oh my
yes,
God.
God.
You looking at what is half dead.
Mm.
And the fact that if it's half dead, there's another part that's half alive.
Yeah. Right now. Yeah.
And you take the part that's half alive and talk to the part that's half dead and say, you come on here, we got to pursue. We got to pursue. We got to pursue. My relationship, I got to pursue. My finances, I got to pursue. My business, I got to pursue.
Yes.
My health, I got to pursue. I don't want to get up in the morning, but I get up and put them tennis shoes on and lace them up, put my stuff on, put my headphones on, and get out of there because I can't preach. I got somewhere to go, and I can't preach all sluggish and broke down and sugar all unrecognized. I ain't got no help of it, and all out of balance in my head and all this kind of stuff. He said, get up and pursue and get your body back where it needs to be because you have to be in good health to preach this gospel. I got to help up in here where I'm about to take you. It's not just a preach on Sunday. I ain't got no help up in this house because right after the anniversary, I started getting all kind of calls. And Pastor Robinson and other pastors said, Apostle, you didn't preach, but we need a revival. Can you come this day? Can you come here? Can you come there? And I got to be in good health to be able to preach this gospel because there's too much word locked up on the inside of me. And I can't be all broke down and not be able to get it out. Shall I pursue? If I got to say no, I don't want no cake. If I got to say no, mama, keep the peach cobbler over. Oh, God, help me. If I got to say no, I'll get light dyed blue man. I ain't got no help up to me. I just kicked over a good bucket of milk. Shall I pursue? Shall I pursue? The righteousness of God. People, God, if you leave out here, we don't shout it already. But if you leave out of here and miss out on the fact that God is trying to fill you, He's trying to make you completely satisfied with His righteousness. That's why I preach the way I preach. Told the guys at the restaurant this morning, I go to the restaurant, I go for a reason, I go for a purpose. I go for a reason. And when I left, I said, I got to go. I said, I'm finna go to work. And one of them said, I wish I had a job. I only have to work a few hours on Sunday. I said, I do too. I said, if you find one, let me know. I said, if you find one, get an application for me too. I want to fill out for it too. I only have to work a few hours on Sunday.
Amen.
Because this 24/7, baby. I ain't keep talking about Rev, but Rev says it's 24/24, baby. This not just a few hours on Sunday.
Amen.
When you see, God, I want me to go there. Because this body said, because I text you all the time. When you see the knock, Lady Anita got indignant the other night, said, look here now, they need to know it's 10:30. They come up here asking for $2-3. Okay. Now, look here, you give them that $2-3 this time, but they need to respect the time they come to my house. Now, look here. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get this all the way to Sherwood. I'm going to have to pull her meditate so she won't be fussing with her. If you ain't got maybe I'm meditating, you know I got to preach to see you.
Yes, Lord.
Come on, stand to your feet.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Come on, stand to your feet. I know we don't have any music now. No musicians are gone. But Grandpa told me a long time ago, and I never forgot it. This was the wisdom that my grandfather passed on to me. He passed a lot of things on, taught me a lot of things, and some of them I still remember, some of them I forgot. But one that I never forget, that Grandpa told me that good meat will make its own gravy.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Good meat.
Amen. Amen.
Grandpa said good meat will make its own gravy. You ain't got to put a hoop to it. You ain't got to put a squall to it. Just good meat. You just leave good meat right there, and it'll make its own gravy. So with no music, no organ, no keyboard, I ain't even have nobody go play a track or nothing like that, because if I'm giving you good meat,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
if I'm giving you good meat, I got help up in there, you'll put the praise, you'll put gravy to it. It'll make the praise down in you. It'll come, you'll think about something I said, and you'll be down aisle 10 and walk and holler, glory, on something that went off in you. That meat just made some gravy. Glory, glory, glory. You'll be driving down the highway, glory to God, and God will show you something to pursue, and you will say, God will give you the green light and say, pursue it, and you will say, hallelujah! Oh! So Lord, we thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
So Lord, we thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
We praise you.
Thank you, Lord.
We bless your name.
Thank you, Lord.
We thank you for your word.
Thank you, Lord.
We thank you for your righteousness.
Thank you, Lord.
God, don't let us waste our time like Israel, going about establishing our own righteousness. Didn't that bless you? Don't let us go about establishing our own righteousness. But God, let us make sure that we pursue the things of God. We have a hunger and a thirst out of what you have for us. Bless your people in this house. Bless those who are watching live. Bless those who will see it on the video. Let it become life to them. Let it become living water to them. People we don't even know. We're looking at the people who are many in the seat. God, you're letting this go out, and people, God are being touched everywhere. I thank you for Brother Tony, God.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Thank you for the word that you used him to speak into my life, to encourage me. He called me with a lot of stuff. But God, the word that you had him to speak into my life and say it's not about how many view. It's about the right one person. It's the right one. God help me. So God, I preach with the passion. I preach with the conviction. I preach to be in right relationship and right standings with you as I feed your people. Let this word be bread. Let this word be meat. Let this word be drink and satisfy their soul. God, we love you, God. Try to get out of this. Strengthen me now. Pour back into me now. Fill me again, God, to stand and declare your word. It's in Christ Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Somebody give him a praise. Somebody give him a praise. I said somebody give him a praise. Let's do one more thing. Just do one more thing for me. Just find about 3 people and just ask them, what are you hungry for? Just find about 3 people and just ask them, what are you hungry for? We got to get out of here. Just find them and ask them, what are you hungry for?
What you hungry for?